Welcome back to another Film Geek video. Today I am ranking the modern Planet of the Apes films. Now normally when I do these rankings, I do least favorite to favorite or something of that sort. In this situation though, all four of these movies are very well made and very cool films to watch. So in this case, I'm actually ranking them on which ones am I most likely to sit down in front of the old TV, pop up a big old bucket of popcorn and watch first. These are just personal opinions. This has nothing to do with quality. This has nothing to do with IMDb or Rotten Tomato or any of that stuff. This is 110% just my personal opinion of which of the 8 films I am most likely to sit down and watch first. So it's enough of me sitting here yammering. It is time to head over to that series of tubes that we like to call the internet, because it's time to rank the modern Planet of the Apes films. Welcome to the internet, folks, so let's get this started, shall we? Now, I didn't bring this up in my intro, but I would like to state that when it comes to talking about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I am not going to give out any spoilers. That movie has just come out, so I don't want to talk about that one just yet and give anything away, because I don't know how many of you have seen the film. So I do want to say, when it comes to that movie, spoilers are off limits. In fact, I've already done a full review of the film, so if you want to check that out, it's probably going to be the video that pops up after this one. Alright, so let's get this started, shall we? Oh, but by the way, I will probably discuss some spoilers and plot points and all in the other Ape films, because, they've been out for a minute, so if you haven't seen them yet, go back, watch those movies, and then come back to my rankings video. Alright, let's get this started. So, which one of these movies in this list is my favorite of all of them? Now, when I say favorite, again, this has nothing to do with quality, alright? Because I feel all of these films deliver in the quality, period. This is just a personal preference. So my personal favorite of all of the Planet of the Apes films here in the modern age is War for the Planet of the Apes. That is number one. Man, I really like this film. We have some great performances, not just from, Andy Serkis, but Woody Harrelson throws his hat into the ring on this one and just delivers an absolutely chilling performance of a, military leader. I believe he's a colonel who is on the verge of what he thinks is death. He doesn't know when it's coming, but at some point in time, this is when the humans start to realize that they're going to de-evolve. They're going to lose the ability to speak. We throw in the character Nova, who is a human that hangs out with the apes, and when we find her, she has lost the ability to speak, so she's kind of the first, piece of the puzzle of how this works out. And then as the film progresses, we also learn that Woody Harrelson is not only just fighting the apes in this film, but he is also fighting what's left of the U.S. military, because they think he's lost his mind, which, yeah, that's kind of where things go in this movie. It is really interesting to just watch the end of humanity, basically. It just goes up in a big ball of flames. But this also has the end of our character's journey with Caesar, and man, the ending of this film is just a tearjerker too, because there's so many characters in this film series that you've kind of watched not just grow up, but you've watched them develop and become, fleshed out, full-fledged kind of characters, and all of their stories come to an end. And another thing this film does that I absolutely love, and not a lot of movie franchises can pull this off, especially in the third installment, and that is bring in a new character that is absolutely fun and enduring, and maybe they're just there to be a comic relief, but at the same time they deliver a great performance, and that is Steven Zahn as Bad Ape. Yeah, I just love Bad Ape in this movie. He's a fun character, and is probably another reason why I like this movie so much, is because it does try to add a level of humor into the film to kind of cut things up, because this movie tackles a lot of very serious, hardcore subjects, and so it's nice to have a character like Bad Ape that just kind of be like, oh no, and oh god, it's just so much fun throughout the entire film. I personally don't feel the character gets annoying, but he is definitely there to bring in the comic relief. So if that's my favorite of all the Planet of the Apes films, then what is number 2? Number 2 is definitely going to be Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Now, this is where the apes are starting to start up their society. Humans are on the brink of extinction. They're dying all over the place. They're small little colonies. And this one colony of humans comes across our ape buddies, and they're trying to restart a dam to get power back into San Francisco so they can try rebuilding humanity. So at this point in time, no one knows about the virus that's going to take everybody's brains and such. And this movie kind of flips it a little bit, because generally in these films, the human beings are the bad guys. But in this moment, it is Koba. Koba is the asshole. Like, through the whole damn movie, you're just like, fucking Koba. Jesus, just stop, because he just keeps antagonizing. Every time Caesar gets things worked out with the humans and thinks we're on the right path, no, Koba just fucks it up every single time. And it has this really underlying story of just that, not being able to let things go and move on, and how both sides at this point are just taking things out on each other. At this point, the humans still do not see the apes as equals. I don't really know if they ever do in this film series, to be perfectly honest, but it's still apparent that the humans still believe the apes, despite the fact they're intelligent and building societies and all, are still underneath humanity's foot. But it is that point where everything is flipping around, right? So you have some humans who just do not see the apes as intelligent creatures. They're still just animals to them. And then you have Koba and his group who are apes who just can't stand human beings. And so that's kind of where this is. Both sides just not being able to let things go. But Koba is really the asshole of this film. I really enjoyed the storyline in this movie. The acting is superb on both ends of like all of the films, honestly, in the series. The CGI in this movie is on point. This is really a very, very solid, grounded film. There's so many different elements of family, of tribe, and so on, survival, and what we might do in order to just kind of keep humanity going. Very solid, good film. So what is number 3 on my list? Well, that is actually the newest film in the series right now, and that is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And really, dude, that name just bothers me. Why can't it just be Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes? Why does it have to have so many goddamn adjectives? Why? But I digress. Anyways, the title of this film aside, I thought this was a very solid film and a really good way of saying, hey, this is something new. Sure, Caesar and his guys had their time, but now here we are, we're in a new time, and it also brings up elements that I really like of like what are the teachings of Caesar and how do they impact the apes of that time period, because this movie does take place further in the future. And I like that it tackles some of those systems, like the belief systems that some people hold and how they can get warped and changed as time moves on. So a really cool underlying message in this, and the main character Noah was just such a great character. I'm really hoping that this film series does keep going. I thought this was a really great way to set itself aside and say, hey, we're the same but different. We're going in a different paths in this film. And the director of this film did an excellent job. Wes Bell, I believe. I might be wrong. Honestly, I'm sorry if I got that wrong. I do know that he directed all of the Maze Runner films, which I did not think I was going to like those movies going into it, but I really enjoyed them. He had a really great way, a really good eye on how to film action very quickly in that film, and it really does show in this movie also, with a lot of the CGI and the special effects and all that have to be used for the apes. Everything in this movie is very well made. Again, like I said, if you want me to go a little bit more into depth, you can watch my full review, like I said, at the end of this. Now that brings me to the final one. Now, like I say, this has nothing to do with quality. This is still a solid film. It's just not my favorite in the series, and that is Rise of the Planet of the Apes. And this is the first one in the series. Now, this is, again, a very solid film, but it doesn't have all of the elements that the other films have. This is just the beginning of things. This is where we're just getting to meet a lot of characters that we're going to get to know for a long time, like Rocket, Maurice, and, well, Koba, actually, throughout most of them, because he's in flashbacks in the third film. But anyways, there is just a lot of building in this. You know that we're moving on to bigger things and better things as the film progresses. The movie has a good, hopeful ending and things of that sort. Well, except for the humans, obviously, but the apes have a very good, solid ending in this film, and it's a very good journey for our main character, Caesar. watching him from childhood grow up, being taken care of by James Franco's character, the who creates the virus that ends up wiping out humanity. So there's a lot of really interesting factors in this. However, when it comes to fitting into everything, because it seems to me after watching all of the other ones, because they just have so many more elements and moving parts, there's a lot more things to pay attention to and all. They just make more interesting watches than Rise of the Planet of the Apes. And so there you go, guys. There you have it. My ranking of the 4 Planet of the Apes films, well, at the time of the filming this in 2024, when Kingdom just came out. So that's when this is, at this time. No other films. And this is my ranking. So maybe I'll rethink it later on down the road if some new ones come out. Well, there you have it, guys. Thanks again for checking out the Film Geek. If you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up so I know you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you can do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna.